I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Andrea, do you want to do any introductions before I get started, or?
Yeah, I can. Welcome to today's session. This is James, who's the Managing Director, I believe, of TXGB, who's going to be talking through how the platform can help you increase sales and improve your cash flow, etc., and how you can actually sell your tickets through our enjoystaffordshire.com website going forward. And also bed nights, of course, because it's accommodation and attractions, events and so on.
Absolutely, thank you for that, Andrea. So I'm here to talk about TXGB. I know there's been some communication out to members about the platform, but really today I want to make sure that you all understand what TXGB is, why it's an important platform for the UK and for you guys in particular. And obviously how you can take advantage of it, how you can join up, how you can be part of the platform and part of the marketplace. So TXGB is what we call a digital marketplace. We've created it in partnership with Visit Britain as part of their role in growing the economy. It helps suppliers across the UK reach consumers in lots and lots of different channels. And it also helps destinations conduct smarter marketing. And so that's where our link up and our partnership with Enjoy Staffordshire and other destinations around the country comes in. As a supplier, and we're very much speaking to, we know a lot of suppliers are on this call. It allows you to easily add bookability to your own channels, so your own website, your own social channels. Anything that you've got where you can have a bookable link. TXGB, when you join the platform, has that functionality and allows you to create your own bookability. It also allows you to integrate that product with local and national marketing campaigns. So the kind of campaigns that Enjoy Staffordshire are putting together, the kind of campaigns that Visit England and Visit Britain are running, this is a way in which we can get calls to action into those campaigns with live bookability at point of sale. And it also allows you to access other distribution channels, so well-established channels, new and niche channels, and that's across all parts of the market. I think it's really important to reiterate the point that TXGB is not just for accommodation or for activities. It is across all sorts of ground products in the UK. So accommodation, attractions, tours, events. We're increasingly looking at how we can help the food and beverage market, transport, and produce. So there's lots and lots of different ways in which TXGB can help those different businesses. And what we do is we want to create one central marketplace that allows suppliers and all sorts of organisations to manage their business in one place. So it reduces admin, reduces the stress of selling through various channels and the potential for double bookings. And if we can do that, and as we're doing that through this last year of being in operation, we're actually making a better market. We're making a more competitive, diverse market with more suppliers connected into more distribution channels, helping booking systems fast track the way in which their product works, and helping destinations conduct smarter and smarter marketing. And that better market obviously has a benefit for everybody inside it. That increased competition means that profits are increased, prosperity is there for everyone. And so when we look at suppliers in particular, I think it's important to understand why we've been so successful in bringing just over 7,500 suppliers into the platform in the last year. We know that TXGB helps suppliers optimize their costs. So we have the diversity of channels that we have within the platform mean that you can pick and choose which channels work for you. You can find the right mix. You can test and learn. There are no barriers to opting into new channels, and there are no reasons why you can't opt out as well. So there's no sort of fixed terms. There's no setup costs. You're not going to invest a load of money in doing something here and it not work out because you don't actually pay anything until you start getting bookings, and that's a really core principle of TXGB. We have what we call direct payment channels that are completely unique. And with these channels, you are paid directly upfront at point of sale. And obviously in the climate as it is today with COVID and just generally the market as it is, we know that cash flow is really, really important. So having access to direct payment channels where you're paid directly from the consumer is really, really important. And we also know that industry on the supply side are really keen to get better customer data to be able to build that relationship with the customer from day one. And TXGB very much enables that through those direct payment channels. I think more widely, we recognise the importance of destinations when it comes to the tourism sector. You know, how a consumer plans their trip, plans their experience. Destination features really, really heavily in that decision. And so by bringing together destination marketing with industry, we know that we can help deliver smarter campaigns. Destinations, in a lot of cases, and will be the case with Staffordshire, are setting up direct payment channels. So that ability to get the consumer to make a purchase directly with you through the DMO website helps increase cash flow. It helps because the commissions that DMOs charge are typically very, very low. And of course, any commission that you pay to a DMO is really going back into marketing that destination. So it's creating a virtuous loop, which we know helps drive the area forward, helps drive up the visitor economy. And so once you understand the range of benefits, the ability to make your own site bookable, the ability to connect into destination campaigns, the ability to access lots of other channels and create a virtuous loop. The other sort of set of questions are really how easy is it to join? We spend a lot of time making sure that it's as easy as possible. We've got more than 70 ways to connect. So, you know, whatever booking system you're using, whatever route you've got to market as things stand, rather than have to change radically what you're doing as a business, we want to try and integrate as easily as possible with how you're already working. So those integrations and those connections that we're building on the supply side mean that it's easier for you. If your system, if your system, reservation system, ticketing system isn't already connected to the exchange, then we do have a way for you to directly load product in. So whatever the scenario, you can access the market, you can opt into these campaigns, and you can be part of what we're doing. It's also completely free to connect to TXGB, so there are no charges at any point until you start taking bookings. Once you start taking bookings, we charge 2.5% for any bookings through the platform. But obviously, any bookings that you're making generally through other means don't fall into that. So this is really just about additional revenue, additional profitability. There's no cost to attach to that by default. And it's really easy to manage. You know, TXGB is pretty simple. There's no need for you to spend an awful lot of time inside the platform. Once you're connected, you can opt into the channels you want to work with. You might log in every few days or every few weeks, depending on how much you want to test and learn and chop and change things. You can update your profile. You can enrich some of the product content that comes through from your booking system if you want to. But really, it's down to you. There's no massive overhead when it comes to working with it. And you'll see that we've got a couple of good testimonials coming through from various suppliers all around the country. You know, we're working with in excess of 30 different destinations. That is increasing by about maybe 2 or 3 destinations every week now are coming on board as we come out of COVID and being part of the TXGB mission. And that obviously means that we're getting suppliers from around the country to add to that 7,500. So I'm going to focus a little bit on the connectivity side because that's really, you know, a key part of the value that TXGB brings. We're connected to over 100 distribution channels, all different shapes and sizes with a really simple opt-in process. We have what we would classify as new and niche channels in the platform. So these are typically, you know, focused on a particular type of consumer or a particular theme, or they may just be, you know, a startup organisation that are looking to challenge some of the bigger players. TXGB provides an infrastructure for them to innovate and to bring new propositions to the market. So we have a range of channels that we think fit that profile. We have a number of destinations. That should actually say 30 plus now. This slide needs updating. We've got the likes of Manchester, Bristol, Yorkshire, obviously Staffordshire, Shropshire, Birmingham, Newcastle, Cumbria, Lancashire, Kent. All parts of the country are adopting this as the standard. It's the national infrastructure for destinations. So a range of channels there, and quite often as a supplier you may fall into working with several destination organisations, so that can be good that everything's available in one place. And then of course we have access to all the typical global OTAs that you would expect, so the likes of Booking.com, Expedia, Ctrip, TripAdvisor, Agoda are all connected into the platform, so you can access all that all those channels in one place. We've connected with over 70 booking systems. We actually have 75 soon to be. We're close. We're a few weeks away from getting towards 80 booking systems connected. We're always connecting to more all the time, with something like 5 to 10 projects at any one moment in time when it comes to adding more booking systems into the mix. Here's a little group of systems we're either connected to or working with at the moment to get a connection in place. So it gives you an idea of the spread. So all across the market, from the accommodation players that you might expect, like Little Hotelier and SiteMinder, through to the prominent systems in tours and tickets like Boken and Fair Harbour, some of the more niche venue-based systems like Spectrix, Digitickets, destination systems like SimpleView and Destination Core, of course, globally platforms like Oracle, which used to be Micros Fidelio. So we are connected into a whole range of systems. The work that we're doing on that front continues. It is a work stream that will continue for a long time, just to make it easier and easier for people to connect. And like I said before, where people don't have a system that's connected or want to just try something without a lot of setup or worrying about that, we have a platform called TXLoad that allows you to bring your diary system into TXGB. You can manage your product directly and load it in directly. And this can be really useful if you've not been online before, or if you're completely new to getting online bookability, or if you want to try allocating product in. TXLoad's the perfect solution. It has really robust ticketing options, accommodation options, depending on the type of business that you've got. And so once you understand, what TXGB is and why it's important for your business, it's just important to explain that actually connecting is really, really easy. There are some pretty simple steps. You can apply online. You can actually go through the entire process of connecting online without any intervention from our team. If you do need any help, we have a help desk that are available to take a call. We can book one-to-one sessions to help you through the process, or we can just answer your queries as they come through. There are two main steps. There's one that we call Claim Your Business, where effectively you're just putting your flag in the ground, a bit like when the Google Claim Your Business scheme was prominent. Let us know who you are. Let's make sure that you've got your business and your name attached to it. And then beyond that, we have what we call the Get Connected Wizard, and that just takes you through the 4 or 5 steps to connect. It will take you about a minute to claim your business. It might take you more like 20 minutes to get connected, and that will really depend on the systems that you're using and the options that you want to go for. But as soon as you're connected, you can get yourself opted into channels and you can start taking bookings. And we've seen that, when people get opted into the right channels, they can start taking bookings the next day or immediately. And I think the point that I would leave you with is that we have a team that are really dedicated to helping suppliers. We're available, through working hours, and we will take messages out of hours to make sure that we get back to you. And we can help you with all parts of the journey, whether it's understanding what TXGB is and where it fits for your business, how to get connected, or once you're connected, which channels you should be opting into, and how you can work with them. So yeah, the message there is, if you've got any queries and if you're interested, then please do get in touch. So that's the end of the slides. I think we've got a relatively sort of close group of people. I think there's about 15 to 20 businesses online. Also, I'm not sure if the best way to take questions with this webinar technology is that through the chat mechanism, or is there?
So we can do it either through the chat or the Q&A. Let me see the Q&A.
I'll just stop sharing my screen and see if I can see that.
So there's no questions currently in the Q&A, but we can either use raise hand, so you can see it on the 3 dots, or we can use the Q&A if you have any questions for James. So please feel free to.
So I can see in that Q&A, Sue's just put a nice message on there. Sue's worked with us for a number of months, which is really great to see. Thanks for your support there, Sue. We've been working with staffs now for, I think it's about two weeks. So we've just been going through the process of getting connected and getting their bookability on their site. So Andrea might be able to give a better idea than me, because there's probably some things with the site itself, but we should be live on Staffordshire imminently.
Hi, yes, if you want me, I can give you a little bit of an update on that. So the Enjoy Staffordshire website is a simple view website, and we already have accommodation bookability on the website and poll other booking platforms. So the process of incorporating TXGB as a polling platform for accommodation is very simple, and we've already started the process on that. In fact, while I was on this call, I had an email from our account manager asking me for some login details so that she can sort that out. The process of incorporating non-accommodation is a little bit more tricky and involves a little bit more behind the scenes work with our website supplier and with TXGB, but we would hope that we would be able to get that up and running within a couple of weeks or so, I would imagine.
And Andreas, I don't want to put you on the spot. Have you decided on your commission structure?
Yes, we have decided on our commission structure, and that's all been sent through to yourselves. So we are a membership organisation, and there are a number of our members on the call. So as a member, your overall commission will be 5%, 2.5% of which is Enjoy Staffordshire's commission. As a non-member, your commission will be 10%. So it's a higher percentage for non-member businesses, as our members pay a membership and advertising fee with us.
Brilliant. So I mean, even at the 10% level, you can see that this is a channel that offers a cheaper and better alternative to getting bookings through OTAs. So when we talk there about there being a range of ways in which you can be bookable on Enjoy Staffordshire, we really see the TXGB channel as offering the best value to suppliers, and that's why we're really keen for you to join. Wherever you're generating bookings, if you're paying 15% and you've got the ability to pay either 5 or 10%, I think that's a really positive change. And that's why we want you to get behind the platform and join up. Of course, getting access to Staffordshire channel is just one of the channels that you can gain access to in the platform, and then you can manage that commission level and optimize it as you opt into the channels that are right for you.
And I think, as you said, James, earlier on in the call, I think one of the key differences is this is us as destinations working closely with you as the supplier, and also with Visit England and Visit Britain. And that commission that we're taking is going straight back into our campaigns. So we're currently running a campaign for the summer, which is #EnjoyStaffSafely, and promoting the destination as a safe place to visit to locals and visitors within about a 1 hour drive time of the county. So it's helping us to be able to continue to do that and drive business both to the website and to our businesses, which is really what we want to do.
Absolutely. So we call it a virtuous loop, and we're passionate about destinations being able to create a virtuous loop. We recognise that, you know, paying any level of commission for a small business is something you want to reduce as much as possible. And the way in which you optimise that commission is by getting behind the destination, being part of the place, representing that area, attracting visitors to the area, and obviously by being featured on the website, paying as small a commission as possible and funding that marketing effort, which is so important for the area. There are a couple of other questions. Someone's asked, Deborah's asked, is it free to use the system for free? So we don't have the facility to enable free tickets. What we say to those venues that are free is that really what we want to do is make sure there is something that is bookable. So TXGB fundamentally is about bringing bookable product into the market. Where you've got a free venue, we would encourage you to find some sort of value that you can place on the ticket, whether that's for car parking, whether it's for a cup of coffee at the cafe when people arrive, whether it's for a guided tour or something that will hook that visitor in and ensure that they come to the venue. So we're not saying, you know, this needs to be a ticket that's £100. Quite a lot of the tickets that are sold through TXGB can be quite low value, maybe £5, a pound even, if but it's just what you think will generate a bond with that customer for them to definitely come to your venue and commit to that part of their itinerary. So that's how it works with sort of historically free venues. Somebody else has asked about Airbnb. Airbnb is a platform we've been connecting with for I think about 4 or 5 months. It is a very complex connection. They, unfortunately, as we were about to go live, have put a stop on all new connections globally. So this isn't a technical issue. This is a commercial issue at the very, very top of Airbnb as they look to figure out what they're going to do as they come out of the COVID pandemic. As you know, a lot of the OTAs have cut their teams quite dramatically. And what that's meant is that a lot of them are rethinking where they fit in the market. So although I can't really comment on what we know about what they're planning on doing, all I do know for right now is that they're going to hold back on any new connections until they've made some decisions. But our connection had gone through all the levels of certification that are required. So it's not as soon as they open the door again, we will be, I'm sure, one of the first connections live. And we do have a connection with Airbnb through iCal. A lot of people talk about an iCal connection with Airbnb, if you're familiar with iCal as a format. Our connection with we do have iCal, so we can connect to Airbnb through iCal. We just don't advertise those iCal connections because that we know they're not a proper two-way integration. So we connect to dozens of other channels on iCal, but the Airbnb connection that we will have soon is a fully fledged two-way integration. So we have a question for Andrea. What do we need to do? Simply opt into your destination on TXGB. So Sue, I know you're a user of TXGB, so I can I know you are because I know you're one of the first, which is why I know you by name. There will be an option on your control panel to opt in to Enjoy Staffs. That will all flow through automatically, so it's ticking the box, accepting the terms and conditions, and your product will then flow into Staffordshire's website system, and they can then set you live at that side. So yeah, it is a very, very streamlined setup for you.
And I think connected to that question, Sue also asked, as a non-member, can we choose to join and become a member if we find it successful for us? And the answer to that is yes, you can join the Destination Management Partnership at a later date if you want to do so and reduce your commission that you pay.
Yeah. Someone's asked about OTAs and which perform best. There are, depending on the size of the OTA, it's well documented the market share that different OTAs have at the moment. So if you're an accommodation provider, the likes of Booking.com, Expedia, Agoda do generate high numbers of bookings. So you will get additional revenue through each of those channels. It works differently for different businesses. So even within accommodation, depending on whether you're self-catering or a guest house or a hotel, you're going to experience different increases depending on which channel you go with. That's why it's really, really important to be able to opt in and opt out and test the different channels that work for you. I think because of the difficulty in getting yourself hooked up to a channel, getting all your connectivity in place, historically people just don't experiment enough. And so TXGB is very much about driving that experimentation, helping people innovate and try new things so that they can find out which channels work for them and have a really clear view of that. Because once you start getting bookings, the dashboard within TXGB will help you see which channels are working best for you. And that's why I think, there's no straight answer to that. Different channels will drive different things. Some will help with profitability, some with volume, and it's about finding the right. Vicky has asked about uploading seating plans and functionality. So we do have in functionality, and there is the ability to sell limited capacity, free sale, and seated ticketing. When it comes to seating plans and venues, that does get a little bit more complicated. And we would probably need to look at an individual case to figure out exactly what you mean there. But we have the capability of loading through a seating plan if that seating plan exists, and then it makes it easy for people to buy those tickets. What a lot of venues do is they will sell blocks of tickets and then allocate the seats depending on the block to kind of effectively help manage that for the customer. So a good example of that is we recently, we haven't announced it publicly yet, but we've recently announced it within smaller forums that TXGB will be providing a fan travel solution for the Rugby League World Cup. Will be hosted in lots of stadiums around predominantly the north of England, but in different cities around England. Their tickets are all block tickets, so A, B, C, D, E category tickets, and we effectively bring that into the exchange as different categories, and then the actual allocation of tickets is managed automatically behind the scenes. So it really depends on how you manage ticketing, and it's quite a complex area that we can help you with. About Stripe, PayPal, and different payment gateways. So we do use Stripe as the single payment gateway for TXGB. We looked at this quite carefully when we were setting the platform for the UK. Stripe are pretty much the global leader in payment gateways, and the other thing they're really good at is getting new accounts set up very, very quickly. And dealing with either a temporary merchant ID or integrating the merchant ID that you've already got. So we use Stripe. The initial setup takes about 5 minutes when you go through the connection wizard. It is very, very slick, and Stripe are also very good at keeping their platform up to date. So I think some of you have probably seen the two-factor security authentication that's come through in this last 12 months. So GB is automatically compliant with all of that through the relationship that we've got with Stripe. We have looked at other payment gateways, but none of them have been able to match Stripe in terms of speed of setup and flexibility. And actually the fees they're all pretty much the same across the different platforms. I think the fee for Stripe for a UK user is 1.2%, which if you're getting that cash up front.
So I can see a question from Sonia that says, is this replacing GuestLink? GuestLink is another booking system that we have in Enjoy Staffordshire. It's not going to be replacing GuestLink, it's going to be another alternative channel for you. So it's your choice as to which one you use. Will you integrate with GuestLink, James?
So GuestLink's an interesting one. We think that if you're using GuestLink, then actually the TXLoad solution is quite a good alternative. Just because TXLoad is free, and we know that GuestLink has a number of fees in the equation. So if we were to connect to GuestLink, it would add another layer of fees into the market that would detract from use. So it is. I realise that GuestLink is reasonably established in certain destinations. We would say have a look at what you're paying for GuestLink and the functionality it's giving you. Have a look at what TXLoad would deliver, and it might even be that you're using GuestLink alongside another booking system. That can often be the case. So you might have a property management system and a GuestLink connection. If you can connect directly to TXGB through your PMS or reservation management system, then that's obviously a cost saving. If not, and you need to use some kind of tool, then TXLoad is free. GuestLink, I think, has monthly costs or commission costs attached to it. So yeah, it's not for me to say what you choose to do, but I think that TXLoad is a really good alternative. I think the other advantage there is that obviously by connecting to TXGB, you're getting access to Enjoy Staffs and a range of other channels. So again, it kind of helps you manage that admin side and reduce the admin that you've got to contend with.
And I think from our point of view as a destination, that the TXGB platform has got more flexibility within it. As GuestLink is very much focused on accommodation, TXGB is a much wider platform that's connecting in with ticketing and attractions and events as well as accommodation. So it gives us a much wider scope to promote more of the product within the county.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really, really fundamental, that what we're trying to do is get all of Britain's product together in one platform, which domestically will help anybody that's trying to work with domestic customers be able to create great, unique experiences. But then when we start to amplify that internationally, as the international market comes back online, that's a hugely powerful tool for Visit Britain to be able to promote to all those global tour operators, channels that are looking at bringing visitors into the UK. So yeah, I think whether you look at it through a local, national or global lens, there is real advantage to being part of TXGB. And yeah, I think whichever route you've got to get through that, hopefully we can make it as easy as possible for you. So I think we've answered all of the questions on the Q&A. Has anybody else got anything that they want to ask whilst we're on here? I think we might have got to the end of the questions. Andrew, just out of interest, are you, as a destination, linked with or closely associated with any of the Discover England projects that have been in place over the last few years? I think
No.
it's my ignorance.
We're not.
Okay. I think it's probably, there might be some projects that link across with certain providers in the county that are,
Yes.
as those projects come back to life, there might be something else to talk about there with people. But yeah, recognise that's all stuff for later in the year, really.
Yeah.
Well, I think from what I can see, that might be the limit to the questions. I think I've covered everything that we would usually talk through. So I hope that that's been useful for everybody on the call. I think if you do have any questions, queries, by all means, get in touch with Andrea and the team. Or you've seen our number. Our website is txgb.co.uk. By all means, speak to us directly, and we'll connect the dots as well. We're working really closely with the destination team, so very much hand in hand there. And yeah, we will endeavour to help you with anything. We've got another question from Sonia. How will we know when Airbnb is linkable? So one of the things that I should talk about actually is TXGB. We're going to be launching a blog quite soon. We've actually been writing content for the blog for some time, and we've just been so inundated with other work that we've not actually pushed it onto the website yet. So that will be going live, and we will be talking about new channels as they come on board. So some of the things that I've talked about today will feature in there, and we'll talk about Airbnb. If you have a particular interest in Airbnb and you want to know when that becomes available, if you're in our CRM and you're speaking to our team, if you tell them that you're only going to connect, or you're only interested in connecting when Airbnb is live, we'll put that as a flag on your account, and we'll make sure that we get in touch with you personally as well. So by all means, I think a good thing to do if you're interested, but this is more of a going to do maybe when summer season's over and you're less busy, claim your business, speak to our team and explain that to them, and they'll put a marker in to get back to you as well, so that you can put the onus on us. We're happy to take the strain and help you guys. We know depending on what kind of business you are, you've got different challenges right now, and it might be something that you want to do in a week, 2 weeks, a month. We can help you with that. So thanks everyone. Hopefully that's been helpful. You can tell my voice is a little bit strange, so I've been gulping at the water as we go through. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Osna, I don't know if you need to close this down, or
Rafael is going to close the session now.